All right, let's dive into something that's about to change the game in healthcare, the EU's brand new AI Act. Today, we're going to break down exactly what this massive new law means for you, for your practice, and most importantly, for your patients.
AI is popping up everywhere, right? It's helping us spot sepsis earlier, triage patients in the ER, and analyze diagnostic scans. The potential is just huge. But with all that power comes some really big questions about risk. How do we make sure these amazing new tools are actually safe, reliable, and fair? Well, that's the core question the EU's AI Act is trying to answer. So, to get our heads around this, we've broken it down into 4 main parts. First, we'll cover the basics of this new rulebook. Then we'll get into the key idea behind the whole thing, the AI risk pyramid. After that, we'll do a deep dive into the high-risk systems, the stuff that will directly affect your work. And finally, we'll bring it all home and talk about what this means for you, practically. Let's jump in.
So, let's start with the big picture. The EU AI Act isn't just some minor update. We're talking about the world's very first comprehensive law for artificial intelligence. This is a huge deal globally, and because AI is set to revolutionize medicine, it's especially critical for everyone in our field. You know, before you can regulate AI, you have to define it, and that's actually way harder than it sounds. The official definition in the Act is, well, pretty broad, and that's on purpose. It's meant to cover everything from a simple algorithm to a super complex model that learns on its own. It's a wide net designed to be future-proof. Now, this isn't all happening at once. The Act is being rolled out in stages. It officially became law back in August 2024. Then, in February 2025, some of the first rules kicked in, things like banning certain types of AI and requiring better AI literacy for users. But the really big date, the one to circle on your calendar, is August 2026. That's when most of the tough rules for high-risk systems, the ones that apply to medicine, become mandatory. Okay, so let's get into the structure of the Act itself. The whole thing is built on one simple, powerful concept: a risk-based approach. If you've ever dealt with medical device regulations, this pyramid idea is going to feel really familiar. It's all about categorizing AI based on how much harm it could potentially cause. And the logic behind it is just common sense, really. An AI that helps pick a playlist for the OR is obviously not the same as an AI that recommends a cancer treatment plan. So the level of scrutiny and the number of rules directly matches how much is at stake for a person's health and safety. Simple as that. So here are the 4 tiers. Down at the bottom, you've got minimal risk systems. Think AI and video games. Basically no extra rules. Then there's limited risk, like chatbots, where the main rule is transparency. You just have to know you're talking to an AI. At the very top, you have unacceptable risk, things like social scoring by governments, which are just flat out banned. But for us, the category we really need to pay attention to is high risk. And this brings us right to the heart of the matter for healthcare. This high-risk category is where almost all clinical AI tools are going to end up, and the requirements are intense. These are the rules that will literally change how you buy, use, and think about AI in your daily work. So what kind of stuff are we talking about here? Well, think about AI features inside medical devices, like those sepsis prediction systems or standalone diagnostic software. We're also talking about systems that help triage patients in the emergency room, or even tools that decide which ambulance gets sent where first. Bottom line, if an AI is involved in a critical decision that affects a patient, it's pretty much guaranteed to be high risk. Okay, so what do these high-risk rules actually require? The first, and maybe the most important, requirement is all about data. The Act is absolutely crystal clear on this. You cannot build a safe medical AI on bad data. It's a total non-starter. And the rules here are really specific. The data used to train these systems has to be relevant, it has to be representative, and it has to be clean. But it goes even further. The companies building these tools have to actively hunt for potential biases in their data that could hurt patients, and then they have to prove they're doing something about it. It's all about being proactive to ensure safety and fairness, not just reacting when something goes wrong. The second core requirement is just as critical, and it puts you, the healthcare professional, front and center. The law demands what it calls effective human oversight. So the tech can be amazing, but it never gets to run the show on its own. There always has to be a skilled human in the loop. So what does human oversight actually look like in the real world? It means you need to understand what the AI can do and, just as important, what it can't do. It means you have to be on the lookout for that very human tendency to just blindly trust the computer, what they call automation bias. But most importantly, it means you have the final call. You have to have the power to look at the AI's output and decide to ignore it, override it, or just shut the whole thing down. You are always in control. Now, here's a fascinating little problem that's popped up. The medtech industry is worried about a potential regulatory catch-22. See, under the current medical device rules, you can test a new device in a clinical trial before it gets final approval. That's how you get the evidence. But the concern is that the AI Act might see that trial as putting the system into service, which would mean it needs AI Act approval before the trial even begins. It's a classic paradox that's going to need some clarification so it doesn't slow down innovation. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Let's wrap up with the most crucial part. What does all of this mean for your day-to-day work? And what can you start doing right now to get ready? And it's really important to get this. This isn't some far-off thing to worry about in 2026. Your responsibilities are actually starting now. Since February 2025, the Act has a requirement to improve the AI literacy of users, and that means you. The push for training, for understanding these tools, is already underway. So here's a simple, actionable checklist to get you started. First, only use AI systems for what they were built and approved for. No going off label. Second, start creating training programs and standard operating procedures for that human oversight we talked about. Third, keep a record of which AI systems you're using and how you're using them. And finally, set up a really clear, simple way for anyone to report problems or incidents with an AI system. These 4 steps will put you way ahead of the curve. And if you need any more motivation, this quote from one of our sources just says it all. Without a real systematic effort to build competence in AI, doctors risk misusing these tools, failing their duties, and worst of all, putting patients in danger. It really drives home the point that education here isn't a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So we'll end on this thought. The EU AI Act gives us a detailed rulebook, a blueprint for making AI and medicine safer. But rules on a page are one thing. The real challenge and the real opportunity is on us. Are we ready as a medical community to build the culture of training, of critical thinking, and of lifelong learning that this new technology demands? That's the question we all have to answer together.